Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Girl, Why Not You? I am your host, Jenny Blackwood, and today's conversation is about what it really looks like to build something over time. Because we talk a lot on the show about going after big goals and building businesses and creating success, of course. But what we don't always see is what happens behind the scenes. The small beginnings, the pivots, the seasons where things didn't quite go as planned. Today's guest is Nellie Akalp, founder and CEO of CorpNet, a company that helps entrepreneurs navigate business formation, compliance, and tax registration. But what makes Nellie's story so powerful is actually how it started. She and her husband began their journey while still in law school with just $100 and a one-page website, eventually building and selling that first company for, wait for it, $20 million. And then, instead of stopping, she started again. While pregnant with her fourth child, mind you. Today, she's built CorpNet into a nationally recognized company with over 100 employees, helping entrepreneurs across the country. And today, we're talking about what it actually takes to build that long-term success, how to grow a business while raising a family, and how to pivot when life forces you to rethink everything. Nellie, you powerhouse, I am so excited to have you here today.
Thank you so much, Jenny. It's a pleasure to be on the show. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, my true pleasure. There is so many things I want to dive into with you today, like what you have done, girl. I am so proud of you. I want to start at the beginning though, because your story actually did not start where it is today. I love how you said all you guys had to your name was $100 in a one-page website, and everybody, let's not forget she turned that into $20 million. So take me back to those early days. What made you and your husband believe that this idea was worth pursuing?
I think it was just basically seeing the problems out there and the pain points and, finding, recognizing there was a need for this type of service and not a lot of service providers, and truly just, getting into the market at the right time. So right place, right time.
Yes.
It was the birth of the internet. We saw an opportunity and we took it.
God, I freaking love that for you so much. So I'm curious, we've all been at a point in our life where we have nothing to our name and we're like, okay, how can we turn this into something big? A lot of us kind of go, oh my gosh, I have no money. There's nothing I can do. I'm stuck. This is my life. I'm never going anywhere. But that, my friend, is obviously not true. What did it feel like starting with $100? What did that look like?
So it was my $100.
Let's make that known, everybody.
No, I'm kidding. We were fresh out of law school. I was working a 9-to-5 job. And, when you're struggling to make ends meet, I think you get to a point where you become consistent and nothing will stop you from going after what you believe in. So
Sure.
It was scarcity coupled with passion and the need out there that really, got us motivated to do whatever we could to launch the business. And
Yeah.
I think for those of you starting out there, it really takes a lot of grit, passion, consistency, and not focusing on the end result, which is, hey, I want to become an overnight success or a millionaire, but really, doing something that you're truly passionate about and also that truly, truly solves a need out there. We saw a need that needed to be solved because it was the birth of the internet. A lot of people wanted to start a business on their own, but they didn't have the money to, pay those, enormous legal filing fees, to a lawyer to set up a corporation or an LLC. So what we saw is what can we do to, solve a problem nationwide in the masses, and offering a low-cost service that allows a small business owner to start a business by helping them fill out the paperwork with the Secretary of State's office without providing legal, tax, or financial advice was something that, there was a need for out there. And so we saw the opportunity, and immediately that multiplied into masses needing that service and being able to save the money that they would have otherwise paid a lawyer, and really pay it when they require the need for legal assistance.
Gosh, that is so amazing. I mean, as somebody who started multiple businesses and who helps other people start businesses, those filings and that paperwork can be so intimidating if you don't know what you're doing. And then I feel like the hard part is you're filling it out. You're like, oh my God, I'm literally guessing because you don't have guidance. And then what happens? You'll send it back to the state. And then if you mess even one thing up, they're like, sorry, cannot be processed, must redo. Then you're starting all over again. And it is such a pain. And you're like, I just want to start this business. I'm trying to do it right. But you're right. Like if you don't have an attorney on your side, if you don't have somebody like that, it can be very difficult. So I love that.
And it seems like you've been through that process because you nailed it.
Nailed it.
It exactly is like that. It's like people try to do it themselves, and there is the do-it-yourself method, but we're here as a service that really simplifies the process, because you truly nailed it when you're like you're filling out the paperwork, you're second guessing yourself, then you submit it to the state, and then you get a rejection where, hey, your filing has been rejected for ABC reason. And that's really where our company comes in, whether it was my previous company or our current company, CorpNet. We really simplify the filings and guarantee error-free filing for you so that you can get a successful filing and focus on running and growing your business.
That is so killer. I love it. I mean, yes. And if you have not started a business and you don't quite understand how this could be a pain point, let me tell you, it is. So I will say, I have started businesses, but I have helped hundreds of people also start businesses. And I'm oftentimes telling people, look, put your time and energy in the places where it makes the most sense, where you're going to make the biggest impact. Trying to figure out all this paperwork up front is going to lead to so much overwhelm, so much burnout. There is another large platform that traditionally I have sent people to because I'm like, just simplify it. Yes, you're going to pay some money up front to get the help, but you're not spending attorney's fees up front. It's substantially less, right? But you're getting the right advice. It's being filed for you. You're streamlining it. Save yourself the time and energy, right? Put your energy somewhere else. So let me ask you, now that I know about you, oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this company. Tell me how your company may differ from maybe some of those other big names out there that are doing something similar.
Yeah. So simply stated, we don't sell subscriptions, and
good.
Get you on the hook for unwanted subscriptions. We are what you see is what you get. Also, I mean, I'm an influencer. I've been in this industry for 30 plus years. My husband and I have been coined as the pioneers of this industry.
That's so cool.
We offer a straightforward service, and we don't sell you anything else that you don't need. A lot of these other larger companies are truly getting you in with this free bait and switch technique where, hey, free incorporation. But then at the end of checkout or within a week later, you're getting all these subscriptions that people are calling us going, what happened here? Or they're going to these other competitors and being sold services that they didn't need, or being sold the wrong service, or being sold a service which was completely in error or filed incorrectly, and we are having to fix it for them. So at the end of the day, CorpNet is very, very, very transparent. We charge you a minimal service fee, but when you come, you get what you pay for and more. And you're not getting all of these tens and thousands of subscriptions or emails trying to sell you things that you really don't need. So I would say be very leery of what you see as advertisement, because with CorpNet, We're here to solve a pain point, which is if you're in need of setting up a business entity, converting a business entity, setting up a corporation or LLC, expanding your corporation or LLC, if you're running payroll, if you're expanding into other states, that's what we're going to help you with. And we're
Yeah.
going to solve that problem for you and keep you compliant throughout the life cycle of your business in every state.
That seriously hits hard for me because you're right. That is exactly what it is. It's kind of like, you know who Alex Hermosi is, everybody? Like, he's kind of like just get him in the door for just a little bit. And then we're going to sell him this and this and this and this and this. And then it's like, so inundating and crazy. That's how they make their money. But you don't have to fall victim anymore to that because of Nellie and her amazing husband. So the thing is like, I have so many people that would go there and be like, okay, I got my LLC and I filed for my EIN, but like, do I need this email? Do I need this website? Do I need a year of support? I'm like, no, just ignore it all. Just get the LLC and the EIN and move on with your life. But you're right. And for people who don't know, they phrase it in a way that makes it seem like, wow, you should really do this. But then you really don't need it.
Yeah,
so that's refreshing.
There's things that a business will require. Okay. So like when you're setting up a corporation or an LLC, you're going to need a registered agent service.
Yes.
Okay. Do I recommend you acting as your own registered agent service provider? Not really, because you're setting up a corporation or an LLC for privacy and asset protection, liability protection. So, things like that, my team and I will guide you to opt for choosing us. However, at the end of the day, if you want to act as your own registered agent, we're not going to bombard you with emails. There is critical compliance filings after you set up a corporation or LLC that as a corporation or LLC, you are required to file these critical compliance filings. You're going to get notifications from our company because our job is to keep that corporation or LLC that you set up with us originally in compliance. So I want to make sure that I'm hitting home here with we're here to sell you the services that your business is going to need, and it's going to need to keep and remain in compliance throughout the life cycle of your business. But we're not here to sell you unlimited, unwanted subscriptions just to make money.
Yeah, that's amazing. And like, seriously, snaps to you, girl. So if you go back, looking back in the beginning, I'm curious about, you had the $100, not to go all the way back there, but my curiosity is, how confident were you at that time? Were you like on a 1 to 10, where was your confidence with like, hey, I'm going to freaking make something with this, versus were you like, tell us about that?
My husband was always the visionary and still is. That's what really creates this magical combination between us is we come from complete different backgrounds. He's more tech nerd. I'm more operations, sales, marketing. And when he came up with the idea, I truly believed in it because the way he proposed it to me was like, listen, we're at the beginning of a very exciting era, kind of like where we are today with AI.
Yeah.
Back then, it was the same thing. It was like we're truly in this new era of, the birth of the internet. People are going to need this service, and I want to get this domain name. Can you lend me $100? And then once we put up our one-page website and truly saw the number of people leaving their credit card numbers on our answering machine.
Oh my gosh.
That in and of itself was the faith I had. And I was looking at my husband, I'm like, let's go. So he actually took time to go take the bar exam, which thank God he passed the first time around. And I turned our apartment into an office, and I hired people from his law school, my law school, and we turned the place into a true office operations where we were, selling in corporations and LLCs. And then while he was gone, I added different things like rush your filing, get it same day, kind of
Yes.
like upsells like that, because we were looking at what people needed and there was a need for it. So, yeah, in answer to your question, I mean, with every business, absolutely, there's that fear of like, am I going to fail? Is this going to, succeed? But I think for us, the faith and belief we had in the idea that we were launching and how much of a need there was for it, by just putting up a one-page website before going full blown into a full functional website, and the type of response we were getting really solidified the fact that we were doing something right.
Wow.
And it was going to have a huge impact out there.
Yes. Oh, I just love everything about this. And I feel like what's also unique about your story is that you weren't just building a business, you were actually building your life together at the same time.
Yes. That was huge because, both of us had a lot of student loans, and, so, the money was coming in, and we were not only bootstrapping the business and growing the business, but we were also truly building our life together, paying off the debt, getting ready to purchase a new home. And then once we had the money to purchase a new home, we moved the operations for the business into our, house. And then from there, we moved into an office. So very systematic process.
Yes.
Where, we didn't go out there looking for investors. We completely bootstrapped and grew the business. And then fast forward to 2005, we were approached and blessed with the opportunity
Oh my goodness.
Intuit approaching us and being like, hey, we want to partner with you. And then soon the conversations changed from a partnership to we want to acquire you. And
Holy moly.
yeah, it was exciting.
Yeah. So, what was that moment like? I mean, I can't even imagine being approached and somebody being like, hey, we really love what you've done here and we'd like to cut you a nice clean check for 20 mil. I can't even imagine what that feels like. So, what were you and your husband like? How did you absorb that?
Truly, when I say this to you, I was like, how do I put a number on something that I love doing and gives me purpose and drive every day to get up and go to work? Because I truly love working. I truly love having an impact and making an impact and having purpose daily. I have literally, I can't be around people who don't work.
Yeah.
It's no disrespect, but I'm just a very active person. So when somebody's like, hey, we're going to acquire you and you don't get to work another day in your life, it didn't kind of sit well with me. But my financial advisor at the time, and I was really young, you get a lot of wisdom, we're talking about what, 30 years ago almost,
Yes.
I'm 54 today. So he looks at me and he goes, Nellie, the lightning does not strike twice. I would take this and leave. And I'm
Take it
like,
and go to Bali. Oh,
yeah.
yes.
So it was hard, it's like we never had an exit strategy. Like we didn't have an exit strategy. So it was a little too fast for me. And I'll tell you, like, yeah, we accepted their offer, we moved on, but I'll tell you, it was bittersweet.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I went into a little bit of a depression, had to do lots of therapy, was
Oh my
bored.
goodness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's for someone as active, I've been coined as a high functioning individual.
Yeah.
Most entrepreneurs are,
Hmm.
and I can't sit still.
Yeah.
So while I was under the non-compete, I was selling t-shirts out of the back of my car.
Oh my
I
God.
was trying every other business I could. And then finally, when our non-compete ran, I was like, Phil, we got to do this again. We got to do it
Yes.
bigger, better, faster. and we started CorpNet in 2009.
Girl, you are what dreams are made of. So what does it look like building the business alongside of your husband? What's that been like for you guys?
It's exciting. Him and I are both only children, so listen. Every marriage has its ups and downs,
Sure.
and I think when you're married and running a business together, I think it's really important to put the egos outside of the room and just
Sure.
really try to be unified in front of your team and try to make decisions based on what's in the best interest of the business. But
Yeah.
again, we're humans, we're not perfect, and we have our good days and our bad days. But at the end of the day, we've started multiple businesses together. Knock on wood, every one of them has been successful to date. So there's
That's
something
amazing.
to be said about that. We bring on a certain level of magic just because
Yes.
of our different schools of thought. And I think it just works.
I think what's really, really cool about this story is that it's like way back when this all started, you didn't even know that everything you guys were going to touch was going to turn to gold. But you took a chance,
Yeah,
right? You took a
that's
chance.
the exciting part of it. I mean, if
Yeah.
you know what's going to happen 10
Yeah.
years down the line, why would you even do it? It's not
Yes.
exciting. The rush is
Yeah.
creating something out of nothing. I mean, even today,
Sure.
there's a little bit of fear because, we have this new era of AI, and absolutely, we as a company are ready for it. We're doing everything we can to be up and up to date with all the new technology. But at the same time, it's a little bit scary.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's also really exciting because of the unknown. And
Yeah,
I
it's a
think,
new normal
yes,
you're
yes,
embarking upon.
yes, yes.
That is cool. I think, it is kind of crazy to think about how many different industries are going to be impacted by AI.
Yeah,
But the fact that you're getting ahead of it and like you love a challenge, I can see that already. So it's like, oh, let's pony up and be better than ever. That
yes.
is freaking badass. So you've raised 4 children while you've been building multiple businesses. What has that balancing act looked like? Because that's hard.
Um, I think it comes with a lot of planning, organization. I'm super, super A-type personality, super organized. I plan ahead. I think, having multiple children while running a company, it's hard, I won't lie, but it also it works as long as you plan ahead and you're organized. Like
Yeah.
I will never ever leave my desk without, answering all my emails, making sure all my voicemails are responded to. And I think the trick for me, the secret sauce of having been able to balance is just as things come, through my desk, or if I get a notification from school, whatnot, I deal with it head on rather than letting it linger.
Yeah.
Of course, I've had help too, with my assistant, I've had nannies, but
Yeah.
again, we're very, very active in our children's lives, and knock on wood, they're a lot older now. I have twins that are now 24. One has graduated college. One is graduating this year. I have a 22-year-old that's in the process of being in college and figuring out what he wants to do. And then I still have a teenager who's in 8th grade. So there's still this juggling act.
Yeah.
But at the same time, our culture in our house is, how do you contribute to the household?
Yeah.
We're not running a household where, we're basically doing everything,
Right.
just Phil and I. It's, everyone has responsibility towards the household. And I
I
think that's
love
what
that.
makes it work.
I think that that's the absolute best dynamic you can possibly have as a family. They have to feel like they're contributing, even if they're mad, like, I don't want to do chores or I don't want to do the dishes. It's like you're teaching them such valuable skills and how to function on their own. So, curious, as your kids are getting older, are any of them going to embark on an entrepreneurial venture? Is that like on anybody's radar? Are we becoming attorneys? What are we doing?
Great question. So my oldest, Nadia, who's the oldest of the twins, she actually is works within our company, and she
Ooh,
heads our financial and legal affairs. She's a graduate from Loyola Marymount. She graduated 2 years ago and
go girl.
started working with us, and she's been working with us actually even before she graduated, and took on a variety of jobs within the company and slowly worked her way up, and now she's basically my right hand,
Oh my gosh,
so,
that's so
but
awesome.
more closely works with my husband because it's more legal, tech, and financial stuff.
Yeah,
So she works for our company. My her twin, her brother Nicholas, is fully immersed into AI, and starting up his own venture.
that is awesome.
Yeah, so we've definitely created entrepreneurs, mini entrepreneurs within our family, because every one of them really wants to do something for themselves. But at the same time, we never try to kind of make it so that, hey, you have to fill these shoes.
Yes.
We want to empower them for success, and uh, you know, position them for success in whatever they're passionate about. And, I always try to implore the fact of, don't do it for the money, do
Yeah.
it because you love what you do. And I think I've
Yes.
made a good impression on them from that, because, I truly love what I do, and I do it every day because of the love I have. And,
Yes.
the money is great. It comes in, and sometimes it's rough and we
Yeah.
struggle. And, I don't hide anything from my kids.
Yeah.
They see every aspect, like if it's, down times, I'm like, hey, we need to, kind of buckle up,
Yeah.
and right now it's time to like buckle down and, save some money, so I'm never, I don't try to be something I'm not,
Yeah.
and I'm always really transparent, because the one thing I always tell people is, when business is good and when it's on the up and up, don't assume it's always going to be on the up and up.
Yes.
You're going to
Critical
have,
mistake.
yeah. Yeah, you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, and you got to
Yes.
be ready for those slow times. So that's kind of how I try to run my family as well, and educate
Yeah.
the kids.
I think it's really cool because you guys started out in a very traditional route, wanting to go to law school and all of that. Even with him passing the bar and all these things, you could have gone that route. But what you're showing them is, hey, we set ourselves up for A, but we ended up going with B because we took a chance. We wanted to see what it would be like doing our own thing. We had an idea. We were finding something that was a pain point for a mass amount of people. And we decided to say, hey, let's take a chance on this. Like, let's take a risk. What's the worst thing we have to lose, right? And so
Yeah.
now you've showed them that, hey, follow your dreams. You don't have to be stuck doing something you don't love for the rest of your life. I love that you are also very transparent, because you're right. There's a lot of waves you have to ride throughout these journeys, right?
Yeah.
But they understand that now. They've seen you weather the storms, they've seen the highs, they've seen the lows. And I think it's like you've prepared them better for anything that they have to take on as adults than any college, even if it was the best college ever could, right? And so I think that what you've given them is such a true gift. So a lot of people see success, as we were saying, but they don't see the struggle, like people on the outside. So what do you wish more people understood about your journey when it came to that?
And you know what it is? It's funny because people will believe what they see.
Yeah.
They believe what they see, and I think, in I wish more people saw the all of the struggles that entrepreneurs go through to get to where they are, because with the internet, with social media, and this is something that I always tell my kids too. I'm like, social media shows you what they want to show you. They don't show you all of the negatives. They don't show you all of the nights that you're sitting there struggling. Am I going to make payroll? Am
Yeah.
I going to make my bills? Am I going to make my house payment? Are
Yep.
we doing this right? They don't show all of the, lawsuits you're getting for, disgruntled employees or
Yeah.
employees who are just entitled and they just want to sue you just because they think that you owe them something. They don't see all that.
Right.
They see what they want to see, so, I wish that, people who truly, truly are, starting a business, running a business, it takes grit. It takes consistency. You need to show up. You need to get up, show up, suit up, and do, it's a daily grind,
Yeah.
so when you see, the vacations and the private jets and the cars, those are all great, but also, let's not forget and acknowledge all the hard work that went into that. By no means I'm saying that that's what I do, but I'm saying generally for everyone out there, we're so prone to making judgments on people, but we forget to see all the work that went through how people got from where they were to where they are today. And I think, for most people who put in the hard work, I think they should be acknowledged for it
Yeah.
because we're busting our, excuse my language, busting our ass to make a great living, to
Yeah.
create a nice living. And you know what? More power to you. If you've busted your ass, working day and night, you deserve that vacation. You deserve that nice car. I don't I don't like overnight success. I don't
Yeah.
believe in it. I don't think it's, there's so many of those people out there that we've seen. I call them the has-beens, They've come in and they've gone out. The idea of overnight success and being an overnight millionaire to me is just not something that I believe in. I believe in consistency. I believe in, putting in the time, and what you put in, you'll get out.
I love that so much. So when you hear the phrase, why not you? What does that mean to you?
That means it's funny because I was thinking about this morning, and a lot of people doubt themselves.
Yeah.
So what resonates with me as when you say why not you is you're creating this empowerment in women and entrepreneurs out there that are doubting themselves. And why not you to me says, why don't you deserve it? You deserve it as much as the person next to you. So get
Yes.
up and do it today. Because what's the worst thing that can happen?
Yep.
You fail and you move on to the next project and the next project and the next project until you succeed.
Yes.
But why not you, in my opinion, is very powerful because so many people doubt themselves. There's so much self-doubt. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. I'm not worth it. So why not you, to me, is super, super indicative of if you have a business idea, go for it today.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
never too late.
Everybody take that advice. If you have an idea, figure out some way to go a step further towards that
Yeah,
today, not
yeah,
tomorrow, not
yeah.
next week, today. Oh my gosh. If this episode spoke to you guys, if you've been waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, or the perfect conditions, just let this be your reminder, okay? You don't have to have it all figured out to start. You don't have to do it alone. And you're allowed to build something that works for your life. And if you're looking for support with your business, whether that's the formation, compliance, or scaling, you can connect with Nellie and her team at CorpNet. Everything is actually going to be linked here in the show notes so you can take that next step. And you know what I'm going to say to everybody today? Should we all take $100 and turn that into 20 million, okay? Because why not us, right, Nellie?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much, Jenny. It's been such a pleasure. And Thanks to everyone who's been listening. My team and I here at corpnet.com are here at your service. Again, as Jenny stated, if you need any type of work with setting up your company, whether it's incorporating, setting up an LLC, setting up payroll, running payroll, compliance in any of the 50 states, log on to www.corpnet.com or call us at 1-888-449-2638. My team and I are here to assist you. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. And I'm here to tell you, everybody, take her up on that. Okay. The fact that she has paralleled between other big companies out there that are going to oversell you everything. And she's saying, look, just let me help you. Let me get you straight to the point and let's freaking go. She's your gal. Okay. So pay attention to that. If you want to start a business, get in touch with her. She can help you walk through the entire startup process. So Nellie, thank you again for being here. You are pure magic, my friend. You are what this show is all about. Thank you for taking a chance on yourself so many years ago and showing us that we have that all inside of us too. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Girl, why not you? If something in this episode made you sit up a little straighter or dream a little bigger, don't ignore it. That's your future nudging you. I'm living proof that you can start messy, start scared, start in the worst timing, and still create something beautiful. Thank you for listening to Girl, Why Not You? Now go take one small step towards the life you've been craving. Hit subscribe, leave a review if you feel called, and share this with someone who's ready for more.